Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I just dropped off a very excited 3-year-old to school this morning. He will be going all day today. I'll pick him up at 3:15. Very eager and excited and not at all nervous, and that's just the Callum way. And I mean, it makes sense. Why would he be nervous? Because he's used to school, and he was really excited about packing his lunch and staying at school. So I'm struggling a little bit with it because I'm gonna miss having him home in the afternoon. But I think we probably just need to adjust. I just need to adjust and get used to the new schedule, and I think I will feel better when I pick him up this afternoon and know that everything went well. I don't think there will be any problems. I think he's fully capable, and he's a very confident little boy, and you know, whatever he wants to do, he sets his mind to it. And oh gosh, it's my baby. So it's a lot of emotions. He's turning 4 in a few weeks, and he's gone all day today, and there's just a lot in my mind about how different things were 4 years ago when I was heavily pregnant with him, and just so excited to meet him, but also really nervous about what being a mom to a baby would be like. But there's no greater feeling to me than being his and Linnea's mom, and I'm really gonna try not to cry. So I probably need to cut this short because it's going to happen. But anyways, we dropped him off at school. This is a really good thing. This is a really good thing. He's ready. He's absolutely ready. And he's excited about being there all day with his friends. He's excited about eating lunch with his friends. He's asked me before why he doesn't eat lunch with his friends, and this is a good thing. So I'm gonna focus on that and know that it's the right thing for him, even if it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And the good news is Linnea and I are just having a very relaxing day. One of the things that Roman has tasked me with is, you hear my stroller? It sounds terrible. I need to put some, one of the things that Roman has tasked me with is finding a way to store the hats and gloves and all that stuff in the new flat, because, oh, that's cool. I think I need to put some WD-40 on the stroller. It sounds a little, doesn't sound so great. But anyways, the cabinet that we used to use for our shoes in the front entryway in our last flat, we now use for kids' toys, and it's what the television sits on. So we actually got rid of the big sideboard that was in our living room before. We got rid of that because it wasn't very safe for the kids. But now Roman has tasked me with finding a way to store the hats and all that stuff. The problem is we don't have a lot of space. I'm here at Madeline, and they have this, which would actually work just fine for hats and gloves and all those little catch-all things. Probably something like that would be more practical than, you know, a bunch of baskets or something, right? Yeah, they actually have a lot of nice stuff here. This used to just be Christmas stuff, but now they've replaced it with home stuff with the new season. I like that. I like that. I like that next to each other. I like this light too. It's battery operated rather than plugging into a wall. I like that a lot because then you could just put it anywhere. That's cute. I love flowers. They also have home stuff for kids. Okay, Linnea and I are sitting down having lunch. She's got some chicken and cucumber and bell pepper and some whole wheat tortilla. We're doing a little bit of laundry. It's very quiet, isn't it? I think she's very tired. Linnea? Linnea. She's sleepy. She's about to fall asleep. Linnea, are you tired? Yeah. What's that? Gorka. Gorka? Yeah. Cucumber in English. Hmm? Those faces. The squinchy nose. Every time you do that, it reminds me of when you were a little baby. One thing that I think it's really important that if you're considering living abroad, or if you have family that lives abroad, it's important to realize that different systems do things in different ways. When it comes to school systems or medical systems or health systems or the way the government wants you to do things or filing your taxes, there's always going to be a different way of doing things. And I struggled greatly going through my homesickness phases in the US or in Germany, basically like kind of fighting the German way of doing things, because the American in me was like, no, this is wrong, or this is right, and or my way is right, and you all are just kind of swimming in a sea of wrong. And now that I live here, I've gotten that out of my system, because it got out of my system in Germany. But I see Roman struggling with certain things that I struggled with in Germany. He kind of struggles with here, with the way things are done, and he'll make a comment, oh, I don't understand why they do it like that. And I have learned that the way that people do things here is how they do things here, and it doesn't make it right or wrong. It doesn't make it better or worse than the way things are done in Germany, or even the way things are done in the States. There are things that I prefer about each individual country over the other two, but it is not correct to say that one way of doing things is right and the other ways are wrong. And that's something that I've had to learn, and it's something that we've even had to kind of address with family members, because they of course have their own preconceived notions of how things should be because of their own cultures. But when you immigrate to another culture, you essentially have to adapt. Even if you don't like certain things, you have to adapt, because you have to live and survive. I know for me, with Callum starting reception next year and it being mandatory is something I think at first I thought was just absolutely crazy. I mean, in Germany, kids wouldn't start until they're 5 or 6, and even then, you know, like I caught myself. But then after talking to other parents here, they said, you know, reception is not super structured. The kids have a lot of fun. They are still playing. It's all play-based. But it's just mandatory. And the reason being is they want kids to have a solid foundation before they start actual school, where it becomes a little more structured. And each of the schools that we've looked at for Callum, and eventually Linnea if we're still here, each of the schools has kind of said the same thing, that in the beginning it starts out very unstructured, it's very play-based, and then as they get older it becomes more and more and more structured. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and it made sense. I started thinking, you know, in the US there is a problem with children beginning kindergarten. In the US it's kindergarten. In Germany I guess it'd be more like first class. Here it'd be more like first class. Kids are beginning school with all kinds of different levels, and because if school's not mandatory, kids don't have to go, or they can miss a lot of school. And after talking to a couple of parents who are from here, it made sense to me that they would want kids to be in school during reception, because yes, it's play-based, but they are doing some learning, and even if it's not like book work, they're learning skills that they will need to know prior to starting school. So yes, while a part of me is like, no, you know, it's mandatory school, it's so early for that, I also understand the other side. And I think that's very important that's very important if you're moving to a culture that's unlike your own. You have to be very open-minded, and you have to accept a new way of doing things, which challenges your own personality. It challenges your culture and what you know. But if you're going to survive living outside of the borders of your own country, you have to learn to accept. And that's something that I had to learn in Germany. Roman is learning here. And I think it'll be something that my own kids will have to learn as well, that they have 3 countries that they can call their own. My kids have 3 citizenships. And each of those citizenships do things in a different way. And here they're living in a 4th country. So they will have to also learn to adapt and find the good, and they'll have to adapt their own sense of self according to wherever they are. It's a difficult balance because living abroad means you have to remain very true to who you are and very, very confident in who you are, but you also need to remain flexible and fluid in your thinking in order to allow yourself to adapt. It's a hard thing, and I think I'm understanding it more now than I did first moving to Germany, but I'm also older. I'm also a mom. I've had to learn the hard way. I've had a lot of time to cry. But eventually you do get through it and you do get over it, and you find yourself on the other side feeling pretty okay wherever you are. And that's a good thing. Look who we have. Callum's home from school.
Got your cars.
He's got his cars bag. Linnea's holding a chip bag. You had some in your packed lunch, huh?
I just had some in.
Yeah? Are you sleepy?
No, I'm not.
So, Callum, why are you wearing different pants? What happened?
I was in another one. I splashed one.
Who splashed you? A friend?
Yeah.
Oh. So you got splashed, you played in water, so you needed new clothes?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.